No one was ready for this moment. When Jungkook casually mentioned the word marriage, the entire atmosphere instantly changed. Fans froze. The members exchanged looks, and what happened right after that single word shocked everyone watching. Jungkook wasn't supposed to say it. The conversation was light, casual, almost playful. Then suddenly, one word slipped out of his mouth. Marriage. No warning. No build-up. And in that exact second, everything changed. The laughter stopped. The members froze. Some looked away. Others stared at Jungkook in disbelief. Fans watching in real time felt their hearts drop, because this wasn't just a joke anymore. Jungkook realized what he had said. His smile faded. Just slightly. He paused, took a breath, as if he understood the weight behind that single word, instead of brushing it off. Jungkook stayed quiet. No laughs. No denial, just a soft expression that said more than words ever could. Clips resurfaced. Old interviews. Lingering glances, moments fans once ignored suddenly felt different. Was this accidental, or was it a hint he never meant to reveal? Within minutes, the clips spread everywhere. Timelines flooded with theories, tears, and shock. One word had changed the conversation forever, and fans were left asking just one question. Did Jungkook just reveal something he wasn't ready to say? Days passed, but that one moment refused to fade. Fans replayed the clip over and over. Not for what Jungkook said, but for how he said it. There was no clarification, no statement, no correction, and somehow, that silence felt louder than any explanation. Sometimes, what's left unsaid carries the deepest meaning. After that day, fans noticed the change. Jungkook smiled, but differently. He spoke, but more carefully. As if a line had been crossed, unintentionally. Some called it a harmless word. Others believed it was a glimpse into his future. Debates filled every platform, but one thing was clear. This moment mattered. Idols mentioned many things, but this felt personal, raw, unfiltered, like a thought spoken before it could be stopped. Was it just a slip, a joke taken too seriously, or a quiet truth hidden in plain sight? Jungkook never answered. One word, one pause, one reaction the world can't forget. And even now, fans are still wondering what it truly meant. It wasn't just the word anymore. Fans slowed the video down. His tone, his pause, the way his eyes shifted for just a second. Those tiny details felt intentional. Suddenly, old clips came back, past interviews, quiet smiles. Things Jungkook once laughed off now felt heavier. As if this moment had unlocked memories fans couldn't ignore, because Jungkook rarely talks about the future like that. He keeps things close. Personal. When that word slipped out, it felt like a door opened, just for a second. Follow-up jokes. Teasing from the members. Official explanation. Just silence, and silence can be powerful. Instead of anger, there was concern. Fans didn't demand answers. They worried about pressure, about expectations, about how much weight one word can carry. Trends fade. Clips disappear. But this moment stayed, because it felt real, not staged, not scripted. Weeks went by. New content appeared, but fans still brought it up, because some moments don't disappear. They stay with you. To most people, it's just a word. But for an idol, it carries expectations, pressure, and headlines. That's why this moment felt so heavy. For a brief second, he wasn't a global star. He was just someone speaking honestly, and fans felt that. Instead of demanding clarity, many chose silence, support, understanding. Because love sometimes means letting go. This moment reminded everyone, some dreams are shared, some are protected, and not everything needs to be explained. There was no script, and dramatic music. Just a pause and a truth that felt unplanned. Whether intentional or not, that word felt like a promise, not to fans, but to himself. At some point, it stopped being news and became a memory fans carried quietly, not loud, not dramatic, just meaningful, because it felt unscripted, unfiltered, a rare crack in the perfect image. And moments like that are rare. He didn't laugh it off later. He didn't correct himself. He simply moved forward, and that choice spoke volumes. Jungkook isn't just growing as an artist, he's growing as a person, and growth always changes the conversation. what started as shock slowly turned into understanding, because loving someone also means accepting their future, even when it's unknown. And O demands, and O pressure, just support, a silent agreement between artist and fans, not because of marriage, but because of honesty. Point one, unguarded moment that reminded everyone why they believed in him in the first place. First, fans reacted with surprise, but later, they reflected. Because sometimes a moment isn't meant to shock, it's meant to make you think. What once felt heavy slowly felt natural, because growing up changes dreams, and dreams are allowed to evolve. Fans remembered how young he was when it all started, how he grew up in front of the world. Hearing that word felt like watching the next chapter of his life begin. This moment taught something important. Supporting doesn't mean owning. Loving doesn't mean controlling. And fans understood that deeply. There was no scandal and panic, just acceptance, because the bond had matured, and he trusted them enough to let that word slip without fear. It stopped being about who and became about when and if. A sign that minds had changed, and answers were given, and future confirmed, and somehow that made the moment even more beautiful. Artist and fans moved forward together, and explanations needed, just understanding. Fans started looking back at everything, the years, the growth, the sacrifices, and suddenly, that word didn't feel rushed anymore. They realized something important. They didn't just watch Jungkook grow, they grew with him. That's why this moment felt personal. Not every future needs to happen now. Some futures are meant to be distant, protected, and allowed to arrive naturally. There was no chaos, and denial, and correction, because it wasn't a mistake, it was a human moment. The loudest response wasn't noise, it was respect, a collective decision to protect his peace. Curiosity and care. Fans learned the line. Curiosity asks questions, care knows when not to ask. What once felt like excitement turned into understanding, and understanding turned into trust. Years from now, this clip won't feel shocking. It will feel honest, like a bookmark in a story. That word didn't change Jungkook. It reminded everyone that he was already changing. At some point, the theories slowed down, the debates faded, and all that remained was the feeling that moment left behind. The word didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt warm, like something distant, but not impossible. This was never about headlines or timelines. It was about understanding that life keeps moving forward. He laughed. He sang. He performed. And nothing about his passion changed. Because dreams don't end. When new dreams appear, they simply grow. There was no tension anymore. Just acceptance. And peace. On both sides. Not as a shock. Not as a secret. But as a small chapter. In a very long story. No pressure. No expectations. Just support from afar. The way it was always meant to be. Respect. Trust. And a bond that had matured quietly over time. One word was spoken. The world reacted. And then, everyone moved forward. Because, in the end, it was never about that word. It was about letting Jungkook live his story in his own time.